So I get back from LA and the world falls apart. It's March 2020. I'm back in Atlanta. And one night I'm just eating dinner. Poof, hives all over my body. All over my body. What the heck is going on? So this begins the journey of hives for 2 years, 2 years and some change. Before I tell this story, before I explain what was going on, I look back at it and I don't, scientifically know everything that was going on with me, but I do know for a fact, first of all, I don't have them anymore. Hallelujah. Second of all, that was my body screaming out for help. She was struggling. She finally spoke up and was like, hey, take care of me. Okay, you know what? Hives. Here you go. So what did I do? You want to guess? You want to take a guess? What did the old teacher used to do if anything happened? Fast. I remember going on a 3-day water fast once I started to see that I had these hives coming consistently. Because that one day, that one night when I had that dinner and I busted out into hives, they stayed around for a long time and I would break out every day, every single day. I didn't know what was going on. I did not know what was going on with me. And so I'm like, okay, cool. All right, go back to what you learned from the water fasting retreat. Go back to what you learned about, raw veganism. I know what I'll do. I'm going to heal my body through fasting and optimal foods and cleansing in that way. There's something wrong in there. There's something that has to get out. There's an intruder in there. I was thinking all kinds of things. I went on a 3-day water fast and it was terrible. I successfully finished the fast, and each day on that fast, my whole entire body was sore, blistered, red, bumpy with hives. And on top of that, I'm not eating. I'm just drinking water. So now I'm weak. I'm lethargic. I'm stuck in bed. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give my body the chance to heal itself because I'm not eating. I'm just drinking water and I'm resting, right? That's what I learned at the water fast retreat. Why isn't this working? The whole time on the fast, I was in hives. And so I remember getting off of the fast and just breaking it with raw, fresh fruits. Still had hives. I was like, dang it. I just couldn't get away with it. I just could not get away from it. I didn't know what to do. And so I'm not going to take you guys day by day what happened with me and hives. But the gist of this story here is with these doggone hives, and I just get so pissed off when I think about it because I struggled so hard with these things. It was uncomfortable. It woke me up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. It was terrible. I thank God that I do not struggle with hives anymore. It was really bad, y'all. Like, you don't understand. It was really bad. It wasn't some cute little, no, man. My whole body covered, uncomfortable, sore to the touch hives. And so I started to notice that they were around no matter what I did. If I fasted, if I just ate regular, I was trying my best to eat in a way where I wouldn't break out as much. So I was like, okay, I would start the day off with like some fruit. All right, cool. I didn't break out. But then like at clockwork, like midday going towards lunch, I would always start breaking out. And I had to correlate it with what I was eating. It had to be what I was eating. I was like, okay, I had this sweet potato with this quinoa and chickpeas. Oh no, I can't eat sweet potato. Like, it was bad. I was eliminating everything out of my diet because everything made me break out. And so I got to the point where I got so frustrated And instead of doing one juice cleanse a year, like I told you guys in my last video that I used to do, this time I was like, I'm gonna try to cleanse as consistently as I can because this needs to go. I have to get to work. I have to be on screen. So I started cleansing, and I remember I did a cleanse. I did a juice cleanse. I don't forget how many days. But during that time, there was no hives. And I was like, oh, it's working. Oh my God, it's working. And as soon as I started to eat solid foods again, I went back to raw vegan. I was still doing raw vegan on and off, by the way. This is 2020. And the hives came back. And so in my mind, I'm trying, I'm desperately trying at this time to figure out what's going on. I'm researching and I'm looking up everything. And so I noticed, I was like, okay, well, when I only eat super clean, raw vegan foods, or I'm juicing, I don't break out as much. Okay, well, I just need to keep doing that. I just need to keep doing that. And so it got to the point also where I rededicated my life to Christ in 2020, like the tail end of 2020. And that was, man, it's beautiful. I'm very grateful to have him in my life because he's done so much for me and continues to. Thank you, Lord. I rededicated my life to Christ, and I dedicated to fast for him. I got back to spiritual fasting like I used to do when I was younger. Because all the fasting I was doing before this was purely for just me. And I started to tap back into how I used to fast when I was a teenager. Like, we have my scriptures and, my journal, or pray for things, write down things I would pray for and talk to the Lord about, And so I started to fast once a week, every Wednesday, just water the whole day. And so I got to a point where I was managing the hives. And so this is going into 2021 at this point, y'all. We're getting to the present. Oh my God. This got to the point where, okay, rededicated my life to Christ. My life is drastically changed. I'm still struggling with these hives, not even my weight. Because at this point I was fasting once a week and eating mainly raw vegan foods. So my weight wasn't an issue for me because I was at like 140, 135. And I liked that size. I was like, oh, I look good at this size. I was tiny, but that's where I wanted to be. So I ended up, but then I chalked it up to be, well, I'm not really worried about my weight anymore. I'm just, I'm just fasting. I'm fasting for the Lord. But the real question I would have asked myself is, girl, if you would have gained weight right now, would you be okay with that? Yeah, I think we both know the answer to that. I would have freaked out if I gained weight. That would have been the complete opposite of what I wanted. Oh, but I'm just fasting for spiritual reasons. So I was convicted of that. No, I'll share that right now. That's not another story for another day. I was convicted of fasting for vanity. Fasting for vain reasons that was not tied solely to spending time with the Father. It got to a point where I decided to do, okay, so this is the end of 2020. So what do I do every year? Around January, at that time, I would fast for 21 days on juice. And so I decided to do that again and still fast once a week. I got down to 125 pounds. I was so weak and frail and did not feel good, but I was not breaking out. And I really, truly believed that I was doing it for God. I have different opinions now about what I was doing back then. I really, truly, honestly think a lot of that was still tied to vanity and to how I looked, and maybe still trying to obtain this picture perfect health that I thought was possible, of not having anything wrong with me. No ailments, no hives, no anything wrong with me, no allergies, no nothing. So I was chasing perfect health. I was chasing the perfect body, but then I was also now chasing the Lord. Now that's an interesting combination. Boy, I need to write a book. Anyway, this leads us up to the beginning of 2021. And so we're leaving off here. We're going to continue on next week. Thanks again for joining me, friend. Comment below how you feel about what I'm sharing with you. Ask me any questions. Like, let's talk. Let's legit talk about this stuff. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you then. Bye.